when you're shifting, that softer bushing is just kind of wiggling around, and you can feel that all the way up through the shifter, all the way through, throughout the car, how it reacts. Every time the wheels bite, it's just yanking on that thing. And now that it's more solid, it just doesn't have anywhere to go, and it just stays, and it pushes that energy to the ground, which is where you want it.
Today we are working with the CFM Central Florida Motorsports rear motor mount or lower motor mount, whatever you want to call it, with these Mazda Speed 3s, with these Focus STs. They all have the same rear motor mount on the bottom of the car. That is what causes a lot of torque steer. You have less, it just doesn't feel as solid. They use a really soft one so that you don't have any vibrations going in the cab. Well, when you want to go full race car like we're doing right now, which most of you guys are probably wanting to do as well, to have more fun and push your car to the limits and increase your driving experience, that's what it's all about. You're gonna need a new rear motor mount. So let's open it up right here. I got the package from our peeps over at CFM Central Florida Motorsports. This is a simple package. We won't go too in depth, but we're gonna look at before and after once we get there. This is not a big piece, which is a good thing for install reasons. Got our stickers. This looks like a steak from Fry's or something. It's better. This is the rear motor mount. Look at that, dude. Solid. Front of the car, now we're looking underneath, and right here I took off the under tray and everything already. That is the downpipe. We have a catless downpipe on here. It's aftermarket, and normally there's two bolts there because you have a mount that keeps the stock downpipe sturdy. Now since this is a catless pipe, it's one piece, it's much sturdier by itself, so it just goes in the V-band clamp and you don't need any support. Now that support attaches to this, and we got to get this guy off. We're going to take this bolt off for the rear motor mount. This is the stock rear motor mount right here. It kind of goes behind this black plate part of the chassis right here. And then we're going to take off this bolt, and it should be pretty much ready to go. So this should be pretty simple, straightforward. Let's dive right into it and start taking some bolts off. 15mm here. Let's get a pry bar on this. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Just needed a little bit of leverage. If you guys don't have tools like this, I have a link in the description. It is a bit.ly link that says /tools by Cam. It is an Amazon list of mini impacts, wrenches, all that. So if you're new to cars, you're wanting to do this yourself, but you have nothing, go check out that link. You can get all the tools like this baby impact. This is one of my personal favorites. You see me use this in almost every video we're working on something. It's super awesome. It's not the most powerful thing, but it gets the job done for a lot of it. Just like right now, we had to use the pry bar or the bigger ratchet, and then this zaps it right off. It saves you a ton of time. Get some leverage. Feels pretty good. All right, sweet. Another thing I have on that list is a metal bowl that's a big magnet. I put all my bolts in it so I don't lose anything. This is also a lifesaver. I've talked about this many times, and I will continue. Go snag one. We got 13mm right here. Came off pretty easy. Got the ratcheting wrenches on the list also. Lifesavers. Gonna kind of move the mount out of the way to get to this bolt. Next bolt is this big one right here. This is just making space for the motor mount itself to come out. Now you can't see on camera, but right here on the backside is another bolt. We got to get that guy off. I'm assuming it's a 13. It's a 15. You're gonna need a wrench on this one. Just like the bolt here, it's a bolt that goes inside and then it has another thread on the outside of it for something else to mount to for that support bracket. That is the same case with up here as the last piece for this guy to come out. So you have to take your 15mm wrench. The first time it was a 13, now it's a 15. You put it up in here, we broke it loose, and now we can get it out. And this is our last piece to our puzzle to get the stock mount out of here. All right. Cool. Got that out of there. Here is our stock mount. If you look, we've got some spots to flex, no flex, and this rubber is much harder in here, and that is what makes it sturdier. Now there's more vibration that's going to come through, but we're going to get rid of some torque steer. We're going to add some rigidity to the chassis for the motor mount. It's all good things if you want to go faster and enjoy the driving experience. There's this side of it. There's this side of it. You notice this has the notchy side. This is going to go away from you when you're installing. So flip it around like so. We're going to slide it up into place. I need a screwdriver. Oh, I'll use a wrench. I'll use this. Okay, I just needed a little bit of pressure. Pry on it like this, like we did with the suspension. If you didn't learn that hack, go check out the suspension video. Okay, now we're tight. Right here. Actually, I want to feel this by hand. Oh yeah, that could have gone a little tighter. Oh yeah. We don't want this puppy coming off. Okay. All right, and that's it. We're done. Now, don't forget, you have all this under tray plastic pieces and stuff like that. I've actually been doing so much work on this car, I've left it off. Not the most ideal thing for the cleanliness of your car, but I'm gonna come back and power wash it later, and I mean, my situation's a little different, so just take precaution when not running your under tray. I'm just gonna start it and idle it for now because I have to figure out some suspension stuff. I think that the camber bolts, or the camber plate on top adjustment, the bolts that hold it tight on top of the coilover, I'm pretty sure like vibrated loose and my alignment got all crazy and making some noise, so I had that happen on the other side, but we're gonna see that in a sec. But let's start it up and then we'll test it out in a bit. I can feel it in my feet a little bit. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I have my hand on the floor. The Mazda Speed 3 was worse when I put a rear motor mount on. It was even more vibration at idle. But let me figure this out and then we'll go for a test drive and see how it feels. Got you guys mounted inside. I'm gonna close the hood. Just sounds healthy. Open the gate. All right, back in action. First things I notice is that when the motor starts up, it does this like does the initial like start up like shake,
That feels next to almost gone, but it's all isolated in that rear motor mount. So in the footboard, you feel quite a bit of change in such a good way. It makes the car feel way more solid at startup. I really enjoyed it a second ago when I wasn't recording. Really already impressed of how much less play I can feel between the motor and the chassis when I switch gears. Just playing around. Like normally I would have had a little extra like shake and a, you know, change of flow, and it's a lot easier to drive smooth, I can tell already. Now, how drastic, I don't want to jump to conclusions because I haven't driven it that much, but we're going to let her warm up a little more. Got my blast, thanks Trevor. And I don't know, let's fill it out. I have the AWE Track Edition exhaust on, catless downpipe, if you're new here. That exhaust video is pretty fun, go check it out on the channel, check out the Focus ST playlist. Trying out this camera mount for the first time. I don't know how I feel. It's kind of like you guys are a little close to me, but just try something new all the time. I'm all about trying new things. That alignment issue I had is gone now that I fixed the camera. Oh, can you see that girl's steering wheel cover? Oh, I gotta get that on my phone. Oh, shoot. All the downshifts are way nicer now. I can never nail them like super smooth as far as being a passenger and like being in the car. Your head would kind of move a little bit. Really frustrating. But that motor mount is already helping with that. As dramatic as that sounds, it's actually, I'm surprised. I work on not being dramatic and showing how it feels realistically in the videos, and I'm really not being dramatic. It is extremely noticeable. I think I feel a little bit better of traction to the ground right there. Got a bike in front of us. Those are cool taillights. Sounds like a 250 though. Oh, he just ran a red light. Those bike guys, man. Oh, that feels good. Feels real nice. Feels much more planted to the ground. Need gas. Got like 35 miles. Check out this phone mount. And then I got my cord. Mob Armor phone mount, I'll leave in the description. These things are the bee's knees. I watch YouTube videos on here when I'm out of town and stuff. When I'm driving, it's nice. Wow, it pulls real even now. A little less torque steer, maybe not less, but it's more predictable. Oh yeah, I feel that vibration in my feet a little better. I've been driving this car a lot, so I've gotten really used to it with that stock motor mount. I really wish I lived closer to some like fun roads to like really test this out. But I really want to start tearing apart the dirt bike. We'll go for a drive soon out near the lake where I live. And I'll give you my thoughts on the motor mount once we get out there, because it'll show. We'll put the coilovers and this motor mount to the test. See if we get some more rigidity. Oh. Ooh. I love these cars, man. They're just fun little cars to drive around. They're like go-karts. For the price, too, it's nuts. predictable of how that gear is gonna grab. And oh, it's a nice Mustang. Need me one of them. I'm gonna drive like a normal person now. See how I feel about it. But I hope that makes sense of like when you're shifting, that softer bushing is just kind of wiggling around, and you can feel that all the way up through the shifter, all the way through, throughout the car, how it reacts. Every time the wheels bite, it's just yanking on that thing. And now that it's more solid, it just doesn't have anywhere to go, and it just stays, and it pushes that energy to the ground, which is where you want it. Real predictable, much smoother. The vibrations are almost next to not noticeable compared to stock. Like when the downshifts, like I'm not gonna rev match, like they just bite like immediately, there's no flex. I'm gonna floor it with no hands. See, the wheel would have normally moved a lot more. So it goes to the right a little bit, we get a little torque steer. I don't recommend doing that. I have a lot of torque steer experience from the Mazda Speed days. But I'm gonna swing into QT. Oh yeah. I love how this thing feels right now. I got the suspension fixed, the motor mount in. D-cell, match gear, match rev match. Got a little WRX in here in QT. Need to get on that E30 blend soon. This car just feels good right now. Before we go get gas right now, I just want to notify you that this channel is all about building confidence in the garage, one car at a time, learning everything we want to know before a specific sports car model like this Focus ST. Once you're getting it in the garage, DIY modifying it ourselves, not having to take it anywhere. We want to have fun, enjoy the process. The older I get, the more I enjoy building rather than just driving like crazy. Now, I'm always going to be that way of driving crazy, I'm assuming, like most of you guys, but the process is a lot of fun, and if you do it with friends, it's a great time. So these videos are here to help you know what you're doing. If you're new to it, supply you with all the tools with the links in the description. And if you want this motor mount, there's also a link in the description. I am really impressed. This is one of my favorite mods on the ST, just because I hated how much slop this transmission has, or that shake it feels. And when you tie that motor down, since the transmission and the motor are pretty much connected, you feel that slop in the rear motor mount, and it sucks. But now that we have that harder motor mount in there, there's a lot less play. I really enjoy driving this car even more because it gets the power to the ground with this motor mount. The best way to support this channel is hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Check out the Focus ST build playlist, and I'll see you guys on there. If not, I don't know what you're doing, but we're gonna be taking a dirt bike apart later today, so expect that soon. We're learning dirt bikes, and that's where all this Need for Speed stuff started.